You're listening to the Why Boarding School podcast, broadcasting around the world. Join us as we promote independent boarding schools throughout the United States and Canada with our invited guests. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jeffrey Quebec.
Welcome to the Why Boarding School podcast. I'm Jeff Quebec, and today I'm joined by the Executive Director of Enrollment Management at Branksome Hall in Toronto, Ontario, Kimberly Carter. Welcome, Kimberly. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I'm so delighted to be here and talk all things Branksome.
So with a rich history dating back to 1903, having been founded as and continues to be an all-girls school, Branksome Hall seems to remain true to its mission. 100 years after its founding in 2003, the school became a fully authorized international baccalaureate school, following the IB's experiential learning framework of creativity, activity, and service. So Kimberly, perhaps you can start off by giving our audience a brief overview of the number of students at Branksome Hall, the grades you offer, where the students come from, etc.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Jeff. And I'm delighted to tell you a little bit about Toronto's only IB World School for girls. That's right. We are kindergarten, so junior kindergarten right through to grade 12. We are predominantly a day school with a wonderful boutique boarding program. And our boarding program goes from grade 7 to grade 12. So we have about 910 students in the full school and about 54 students in our boarding program. And we're located right in downtown, the heart of Toronto, Canada.
Beautiful. And so what is the academic curriculum like at Branksome Hall?
Well, we're so fortunate. You mentioned we're an IB World School, and we're really proud to offer all three of the IB Continuum schools. We have the primary years program for our kindergarten to grade 6 in our junior school. We have our middle years program, which runs from grade 7 to 10. That's both in the middle school and the beginning of our senior school. And then the IB diploma program in grade 11 and 12. And new to Branksome Hall, we have 2 pathways to graduation. You can do the full IB diploma program, or you may choose to do IB Select, which is our own customized approach to really tailor what our students want to do, not just to finish high school, but also in their post-secondary pursuits. So there's 2 pathways to graduate, both earning the Ontario Secondary School Diploma.
Nice. Can you talk a little about the academic support that Branksome offers through the Learning Strategies program?
Wonderful. So we're so proud that we're an IB school, and we know that an IB curriculum has some reading and writing expectations. And so we make sure that our student support is just as robust as the amazing academics we offer. You have mentioned our learning strategies. We're really fortunate to have dedicated learning strategies teachers helping our students right from kindergarten all the way through to grade 12. And that may look like an identified learning need that someone's needing some support, or it could just be some study sessions or exam prep or organizational strategies. So our learning strategies are definitely there to support students. And we also offer great support from our teachers. They offer extra help that we call sittings. Think of an office hour. But our teachers offer this extra help a few times a week. Plus, we have a daily math clinic, we have a daily French clinic, and we even have peer tutors where our older students love to support our younger students.
That's great. And so, Kimberly, can you tell me a little bit about the visual and performing arts offerings at Branksome?
Awesome. Well, as an IB school, we're liberal arts. So that means we have students that are arts focused, athletic focused, STEAM focused. But when I think about the arts, what I love is it's an integrated approach. We have visual arts, we have theater dramatic arts, we have the music, we have film, and we have dance. And so in our middle school, that grade 7 and 8, we want all of our students getting to know all the arts. And then when you get to high school, grade 9 to 12, that's where you're going to really focus. Do you want to focus in the dance, in the music, in the visual arts, in the drama? But the good news is, you may pick one during the academic day. There's so much outside of the academics that if you are really passionate about the arts, you can be in the play, join that film crew, plus take that dance class during the day.
Oh, that's great. And so, Kimberly, are there perhaps maybe any signature programs that are offered at Branksome?
Yeah, thanks so much for asking. It's one of those things. I get so excited when I talk about Branksome, I think because we really look to see what do the students of today want. And so, if I think back, we've got a long 121-year history, and for many years, Branksome has been highly regarded as an excellent debating and public speaking school, and well as our rowing program from grade 9 to 12. And those definitely are signature programs that we have great programs in place for our students to learn, to develop, to compete internationally. nationally as well as locally. But what I'd say too, our approach to innovation and what you've seen in the last number of years at Branksome, I now see a really cool program that is unique to Branksome. It's called Noodle, and it's our own business accelerator for students. And so from grade 7 to 12, there's this opportunity for students to learn in small groups, be mentored, learn about how do you pitch? How do you write a business proposal? What is seed money? How do you get a business off the ground? And then once they're supported and businesses start to grow, we have pop-up shows. We have different opportunities where students can get in front of customers and really try. And it's building on their creativity, it's building on their public speaking, it's building on finance. And so for us, I think our Noodle program has really become a signature program that all students have exposure to. It's so good, in fact, we've started a Noodle Junior for our girls in grade 4, 5, and 6 because they were just as excited.
Those certainly seem like some awesome life skills, right?
Yeah.
So how about athletics? Is every student required to play a sport? And also, what are some of the athletic offerings that Branksome Hall has?
Wow, I love this question. And at the very beginning, you talked about the IB, and part of a signature IB curriculum is what's called CAST, which is creativity, activity, and service. So we actually have all of our students, and we encourage them to participate in all those areas. So thinking about the athletics, we have amazing teams. There are actually 20 athletic teams that we have at the school. They are organized by terms: fall sports, winter sports, spring sports. They are all based on age groups. You might have an under 12 team, an under 13 team, and then a junior, senior. And we compete against the other girls' schools here in Toronto and other co-ed teams, girls' teams. While we encourage everybody to go out for a sport, try it out, see what you make, we understand that not everybody may want to play a sport. And so if joining that sport is not your thing, we have intramurals just for fun, or that opportunity to go to our fitness center and just do a workout to get that movement in. So we really try to show that there are sport availabilities, practices before school, after school, as well as that opportunity in the fitness center. And in terms of, people try to ask, is there a sport that Branksome's really known for? I've mentioned rowing, so definitely rowing, we're quite well known. And I say about the other sports, we actually win championships in every single sport. But it may not be the seniors, right? It may not be that senior team, but it's really great to have the exposure for all the students to learn different sports. So we encourage the students, but it's not a requirement to be on a team per term.
It's nice. So it sounds like there's a level or an opportunity for everyone there.
Really. And that's what we think it's all about, right? That's what boarding school's about. That's what school's about exposure, trying things. You may not know that you like volleyball until you pick up a ball and try it. And so for us, we're really trying to look at Branksome as this wonderful ecosystem to try so many different things, to really discover what your passions are, what your interests are, and to start to hone those skills.
And so I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, your mascot is Ribbit the Frog?
Oh, thank you. Ribbit the Frog is one of our mascots. Now, from the athletic side, we wanted to be a little bit more powerful. So to honor the Scottish roots of our school, we have the Highlanders. And the Highlanders have a Highland cheer, and so our Highlanders will go out and compete. But we do have our lovely Ribbit, the mascot, our frog. And Ribbit helps us just to have fun, school spirit. Ribbit shows up at a lot of events at Branksome too.
That's awesome. So Kimberly, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation about Branksome Hall.
Awesome.
Do you have any questions or guests that you'd like to see on an upcoming Why Boarding School podcast? You can contact us directly through our website at whyboardingschool.com. Now, back to our show.
Welcome back to the Why Boarding School podcast. I'm Jeff Quebec, and I'm joined by the Executive Director of Enrollment Management at Branksome Hall in Toronto, Ontario, Kimberly Carter. And Kimberly, as we continue our conversation, perhaps you can describe to our audience, what is a typical school day like at Branksome Hall?
Yeah, thanks so much for that. And what's so interesting? Every day might be a little different depending on the student, depending what they're into. But to give you the high level, we're a busy campus from 7 a.m. until about 5:30, and our obviously boarding community is vibrant in the evening. But a school day might start as early as 7 if you have a sport practice or one of your ensembles. But in terms of the classes, they start around 8:30 in the morning. You can expect 5 classes a day. And in our high school, grade 9 to 12, they're about 75 minutes long in length. And what we look at is we want to have some stability. You might have math a little bit more frequently, but you're seeing your classes every other day. And so it gives you that wonderful opportunity to sort of go deeper in 75-minute classes, and it also gives you that extra evening time to finish up any assignments or homework.
Very nice. And so how about the weekends at Branksome Hall? Are there activities on campus, clubs, maybe trips off campus?
Yeah, great question. In terms of the day, it's so neat because after school, then you've got all those co-curriculars and things going on and events. The weekend, and this is that secret sauce of boarding. I know Branksome's an amazing school, right? I've mentioned there are more day students and boarding students, but the secret is you get this amazing campus to yourselves. The 54 boarding students have our campus to this disposal on the weekends. So our boarding students have a lot of opportunities. We try to have an activity off campus on Saturday and on campus on Sunday so that our students are seeing all that Toronto has to offer, whether they're going to Ripley's Museum or they're going to the CN Tower, they're going to museums, shops, galleries, a show, maybe they're playing laser tag, or maybe they're going skiing or snowboarding. And what's wonderful is we partner with some of the other boarding schools in the city and we'll do activities together. And we also run activities on Sunday here on campus. So opening up our amazing 25-meter saltwater swimming pool for the boarding students, opening up the fitness center, bringing in yoga teachers, bringing in special activities. And so the weekend is really that time where the students get to recharge, have some fun, have a sleep in, have a brunch, but then have a lot of time exploring the city and their school. And what's great is our boarding council made up of students. They're the ones that decide what we do. So the students get to decide what are the activities and decide on what they want to do and what time. And so we're really meeting their needs. And what's great too, Toronto has so many things to offer for anyone really that the world's at your oyster here.
That's awesome. So how about the meals on campus? Are they sit down? Are they buffet? Are they required? How does that work?
Great question. So we have a wonderful, beautiful athletics and wellness center that has our 2 beautiful swimming pools, our dance studio, our gym, and this gorgeous dining hall that fits about 300 students. So there's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast, depending on when your class starts. If your class starts at 8:30, you've got to be there by 8. But if your class doesn't start till 9:30, you get to sleep in and not come in till 9. And it is a buffet. So when you walk into our servery, you'll see wonderful options for breakfast, from cereals and yogurts and fruits. And there always is a hot entree, waffles, pancakes, eggs, those sorts of things. And boarding students just sort of pick whatever they like. Lunchtime, it's everybody together, right? Day students, boarding students, everybody. And so lunch has a rotation menu. Every day something different. But what's amazing about Branksome, when you walk in at lunch, salad bar, soup bar, vegetarian option, a vegan option. We have homemade pizzas that we make in our pizza oven even. And so the food is incredible, and boarding students, they just pick whatever they like to have for their delicious meal. And then at dinner time, so dinner in the evening time, 5:45 to 6:45, again, there's a huge salad bar that will always have some great things in there just in case the entree isn't speaking to somebody. And then there'll be a main entree. We've had a request for sticky rice, so I think we have sticky rice almost every day too. And again, here, our students get to give feedback. So we have a food committee in boarding, and the food council literally gets some feedback and goes to our Chef Peter from our Airmark team and sits down. And Chef Peter actually just went to dinner this week and was asking kids for feedback as we get ready for the new term. So I think our food is excellent, and I will even go on record. I think we have the best food in the city.
That's awesome. It certainly seems like Branksome Hall is definitely student-centered.
Definitely. And I think, the IB is a student-centered way of learning, and Branksome Hall has always thought of ourselves as thinking about how will this impact student learning. And even if I think about our values, sense of community, creativity, inclusiveness, and making a difference. And that really does encapsulate what we aspire to be and what we're trying to provide to our students.
Can you describe to us what dorm life is like at Branksome Hall?
Great question. Well, and it's a little different. Branksome, as you've heard, is 121 years of age, so we don't have typical dorms that you might expect when you see movies or thinking about university. We have these beautiful old heritage homes. They look like big mansions, really. Big, beautiful homes from the late 1800s. So beautiful on the outside, and we've renovated on the inside. And as a result, the rooms are actually quite big. And so at Branksome, we have rooms of 3, rooms of 2, and single rooms when you're in your final year of grade 12. So we'd have all those seniors having their own space, but before that, you're going to have either 1 or 2 roommates, but the rooms are really large. We provide the bed, the dresser, a desk, an armoire. All of that is provided to you. And if you do have 2 roommates, know that the room is really, really big. And we really help students. We have a little, inventory to get to know students and try to make some matches of what we think might be a good fit in terms of roommates. And I would say our students who are really understanding and respectful, that we try to have those students who are early risers room together and whatnot, but the rooms are really spacious. And in terms of the washroom, these beautiful houses on each floor, there are some single washrooms and then some communal. So really the student can decide, which one do I want to go to? And if somebody wants to have that bubble bath in a private place, they can do that. But if they're fine going into the communal just to brush their teeth before bed, that's okay too. And all our 2 boarding houses also have kitchens. Even though all your food's provided, there's kitchens, there's snacks waiting for you after school, there's food available in case you're hungry in the evenings. And on the weekend, oftentimes the girls like to do some baking and cooking in boarding as well.
You're making me hungry there, Kimberly.
Me too.
Is there an advisor system at Branksome Hall?
Yeah, and you know what? I love these questions because it just reminds me of all the ways we're really trying to make connections. For girls to learn, they need to feel safe, connected, and confident, right? To get that confidence going. So the advisor program is one method that we have. Our students from grade 7 to grade 12 are part of an advisor group, and that group's of 8 to 10 students, all from the same grade and from our same housing system. We have a housing system called clans to honor the Scottish roots of our school. And so we sort of join our advisors by clan groups, so you get to know different students. And we meet every week. So I actually have a group of grade 10 advisees this year. We meet every Thursday for a half an hour. And our point is really connecting, helping the students figure out what they want to join, all the clubs and all the different activities. So my job is really to help the students get engaged, all of the advisors. We just want them to have the best Branksome experience, get involved, make sure they're trying out for things. Then we also have school counselors, guidance counselors, school counselors. So you've got the advisor who's going to meet weekly. It's going to make sure you're getting everything you can. Then we have these school counselors, these guidance counselors that are there for that academic connection if you need anything. And especially for students coming new to Branksome, new into boarding, there's that time of transition. So oftentimes our counselors are meeting with our new students, and in particular, meeting with our boarding students. We even offer a boarding orientation before school starts. We want all of our boarding students to come on in and have some special care and introduction so that you're really feeling supported. So you'll have your school advisor, school counselor, but then you'll also have boarding advisors who are the women who take care of you in boarding, and they too have that connection to the day school. So I hope what you're hearing, there's a lot of support, learning strategies. We're also really fortunate. We have 3 school social workers here to support our students and 2 school nurses.
Very nice. So would you say, is there a typical Branksome Hall student?
That's a really tough question. And I think it's a tough question because we're such a liberal arts school. But if I look for commonalities, a student that does well at Branksome is somebody who's not afraid to try. You don't have to be an extrovert, but you're not afraid to try. Not afraid to put yourself out there. And I always say to new students, joining a club or a team in that first month is the key to success because you'll make connections. So somebody who's willing to put themselves out there is going to be there. We are, an IB world school, and there is, reading and writing and things like that. So somebody enjoys reading, somebody who enjoys thinking about their reading and kind of analyzing, giving some ideas, that person I think would also thrive here. And the last thing I'd like to say is that as an IB school and as a girls' school, girls learn when we can talk, when we can work in groups, we can problem solve. And so that style of group work and collaboration and working together is definitely a hallmark to Branksome and also to the IB.
That's great. So in your experience at Kimberly at Branksome, is there any cool traditions at Branksome Hall that may be unique from other schools, or perhaps maybe there's that one tradition you would hope always remains part of the school?
Great questions. Yeah, well, I'll go back to sort of the history of, I actually went to Branksome myself, and so I kind of go back to that, what was my favorite? And one of the ceremonies we do in September is where we install our school leaders. So all of our school leaders that have a position get installed in a ceremony, and we bring back an alum speaker to talk about leadership. So I get really inspired when we have that sort of historical, it's been around for over 100 years, our installation of school leaders. I love that. When I think about something a bit newer, our Week Without Halls is a really cool experience that grade 7 to 12 students all get to do in September, where they go off to a camp, the whole grade, and they really get to know each other and have fun and, build trust and team building and really sort of set the year up on a great level because you've connected socially. So I think our Week Without Halls is pretty neat. And then I think this is pretty cool. So Branksome Hall, we're fortunate. We have a sister school, Branksome Hall Asia, on Jeju Island, South Korea. And a really cool program we have is that all of our grade 9 students have the opportunity to go to their sister school, Branksome Hall, Asia, and spend time in both Seoul and on Jeju Island. And all of their grade 9s come to us in the fall. So it's an amazing experience for all of our grade 9s and really our whole school community, because when our Branksome Hall Asia sisters are here, they go into the junior school, they come to assembly, they're all part of the community. So that's pretty special that we have that. And last but not least, I would say a tradition that I think is great is we do have leadership, and school prefects are something that many schools have. It's in their final year. But what I think is pretty neat is we've sort of evolved what leadership means. And we've really expanded it to more than just those 12 prefects. And we really looked at all the leaders and how you can be leaders in different areas. And so we've started a leadership retreat for school leaders from grade 10 to 12 before school starts. And I think it's a really cool thing because we're helping our students to say, hey, you're leading something. You're going to need a little bit of support because you might not have done that before. So for me, I hope that gives you a bit of sense of the historic, but also where we're going and where the students of today and what they're asking for and the skills that they need.
Well, that exchange program is certainly a wonderful opportunity to bring the two campuses together.
It really is. It really is. It's such a beautiful space over there, and other grade levels might sort of connect and things like that and do a little comparing, what do the grade 1 rules look like in Branksome Hall Asia versus Branksome Hall Canada, and have that inquiry. So it's really wonderful, and we've had some teachers go back and forth. We've had some families kind of go back and forth. And so it's a wonderful way to showing our students how they can have an impact around the world and that they can learn from people around the world.
Absolutely. So before we start diving into a little bit into admissions, is there anything about Branksome Hall that we didn't discuss today you'd like to mention?
Well, I know I touched on innovation, like I touched on Noodle, but I'd be remiss to say we're, almost done. We've got one more year of our build. We're building a brand new innovation center and studio theater. So think of the collision of arts, design, fabrication, robotics, pitch, all that. And so it's going to be ready next fall. We'll be in there January of 26. We're pretty excited. We already have the beautiful Athletics and Wellness Center, and this will sort of bookend our campus, and it will give a space for our students for where they can dive deeper into what we think are the skills for tomorrow. Because I think we all realize, right, we're not teaching to a job anymore. We're teaching skills, and we're helping students to figure out who they might want to be and how can they get there. And so for us, we're really focusing on collaboration, innovation, creativity, and leadership.
Oh, that's exciting. And so if someone's interested in Branksome Hall, how might they go about starting the admissions process?
Awesome. Well, we try to make it as easy as possible. If you head over to branksome.on.ca, and that stands for Ontario, Canada, branksome.on.ca, there's an admissions section, and we've tried our best. We've got a where to start, how to apply boarding, how to apply at different grade levels. We've really tried to outline what you need. And so any family interested in applying to Branksome, come on over to the admissions section. For those applying to boarding, it's a basic application as well as teacher recommendations from your math and your English teacher. And we also ask for report cards, transcripts, and our boarding applicants also submit a little 2-minute video, an introductory video, so we can get to know you even before that interview process. So that's sort of that opportunity to kind of walk in the door for the application. We do an interview in person or virtual, and then there is an assessment, and it varies age to grade level. But we've really tried to outline all the steps on our website, and we are in process now. We're accepting applications now for boarding, and with rolling admissions, it means as soon as we work with a family, we're able to move decisions, and I'm pleased to report we already have some wonderful offers and acceptances out there for this September.
So once again, it's branksome.on.ca.
Thank you. branksome.on.ca.
Well, Kimberly, this has been great. I've really enjoyed our conversation, learning more about Branksome Hall and sharing it with our audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jeff, and thank you to your audience and your listeners, because thinking about a boarding experience is amazing.
Kimberly Carter, Executive Director of Enrollment Management, Branksome Hall.
Thank you for listening to the Why Boarding School podcast. We look forward to you joining us for our next episode. Please remember to subscribe to the Why Boarding School podcast and help us spread the word. Until next time.